a machine that fakes your handwriting, a thing that turns your iPhone into a BlackBerry, and a high-tech mask that shuts you up. At CES this year, all sorts of transformative technology was on display, including these three things that could help us all communicate the old-fashioned way, communicate the old-fashioned way, or communicate the old-fashioned way. Your News Refresh presents a look at these three interesting pieces of tech from CES. And before we leave our mark, give us a subscribe on YouTube at the News Refresh. We cover all sorts of interesting and bizarre stories each and every day, like the ones about that South Korean ice fishing festival where people catch trout with their bare hands and stuff them into their shirts, or the one about George Washington's hair being blasted into outer space. Thanks. No, your sound's not broken. This man is on mute.
So this mask here is the brand new silent mask that will allow you to place confidential, silent, and secure codes anywhere at any time.
He's with a company called Skyted, and they've developed this thing called a silent mask. And it's pretty much what it sounds like, or doesn't sound like, I guess.
The way it works is we have resonators placed inside. So the resonators will catch all the different frequencies of your voice, such that when you emit your voice, it will go along the walls of the mask, and everything will get absorbed, so nothing will come out.
They say this thing is based on aerospace technology. There's a wired version and a Bluetooth version, and it works with all sorts of apps. With the idea being you can use this thing in a place where you either might not want to be heard, or nobody wants to hear you.
So imagine you're in an airplane, and you have people sitting on the left side and on your right side. So you just put on the mask, and the people around you will not be able to hear you. But the microphone inside will pick up your voice and send it to whoever you want to talk to via call, via Zoom, or via Microsoft Teams.
They're available on Kickstarter right now, starting at around $250. And the company says they can see things like this being used in all sorts of industries.
While we have many different users, we're looking mainly at business people, so people traveling a lot, commuters as well. We're also looking at gamers. It's a huge problem for their families. Streaming at night, we know it's complicated. But then we also have the government. For example, the Army Special Forces, they cannot be too loud. And then we have businesses, so open offices, call centers as well.
And who knows, maybe something like this could even help you keep the conversation going during Beetlejuice.
Clicks Technology is a UK-based company, and our first product that we've created is a create a keyboard for an iPhone.
Yeah, so famously when the iPhone launched, Steve Jobs went out of his way to show off the device's touchscreen, which used an on-screen software keyboard instead of a hardware keyboard like the BlackBerry, the other popular phone of the late 2000s. And this is what most of us smartphone users use today, except years later, mine is decked out with all these Hillary Clinton gifts and KFC gifts that I never use. Weird. Anyway, these people seem to spend a lot of time thinking about their keyboards.
Our backgrounds in technology, working for Apple, working for BlackBerry, and actually wanted to build a product for creators and a new generation of people that have never used a keyboard on a device.
This company is called Clicks Technology. And yes, our co-founder's tactile strap-on here affixes an old school keyboard to the bottom of a new school phone.
We've probably got three core audiences. We've got people that have dexterity or accessibility issues and want something that they can, tangible, something that they can feel, and the sensation of actually typing on a keyboard. We've got a creator community, so sort of the younger generation that want to stand out from the crowd, that want to have something that looks different from everybody else. And also there is, a lot of people that have been used keyboard devices previously and want to hark back to using a keyboard now on an iPhone.
They've already gotten a ton of media coverage for this thing. Hey, where's our cut? And you can pre-order one of these things for newer iPhones right now in the color of a bee or the color of the London sky. Then again, if you really want to go old school, you could get an old wired keyboard like this, a USB to Apple desktop bus adapter, connect that adapter to a USB-C adapter, and wire that directly to the bottom of your phone. Impressed? And if you think that's old school, check this out.
We're the largest and oldest provider of automated handwritten notes in the world. We have 175 robots and robots on 2 continents.
Yeah, that's the CEO and chief robot mechanic of Handwrytten, a company spelled with a Y that sells greeting cards written in pen by the hand, so to speak, of a robot. You can order these silicon heartfelt greetings on their site, and you can even teach these things your own handwriting, provided you fill out a bunch of writing samples like a kindergartner.
So how do you write 2 O's? Do you connect them or are they separate? How do you cross 2 T's? Is it 1 crossbar or 2? How do you dot your I? All of that type of stuff is included, and it's really a science and an art. We don't use AI for that part, but when we write it, we use AI to warp it ever so slightly. And this is you might not even notice it. It's almost imperceptible.
They've even got this stuff hooked up to AI, in case you can't think of anything to say after ending a life.
You can go in and say, write a apology letter to my neighbor for running over their cat, and then it'll write that for you. You don't have to think about it. And then the robot itself will then write that note, and then we'll stamp it and mail it same business day.
If you run over someone's cat, the only thing you need to say is sorry. I hope you don't need a robot to tell you that.